Okay, so now I think we can start. So my name is Ashutosh Kumar. I am a maths faculty here with HNR. Today's session is about IELTS test, which will be completely taken by the Jyoti ma'am. She will be telling you about the IELTS test preparation, about the strategy, about the concept that you need to learn, about the test pattern and everything. But before we start talking about the IELTS, I would like to tell you a few things about our organization. So Hadden Renault is a leading consultant for study abroad. We deal with the test preparation to admission process, profile building, and in all the aspects which is required for your admissions in abroad or even in India. If you are targeting the top universities which accept the different tests, okay. So for that you can reach out to us and we can definitely help you for that, okay. If we talk about the skill sets which is required, particularly for the broader studies, if you're looking for any top universities around the world, there are certain set of skill sets which is required, which helps you in terms of getting a stand out from the crowd, right? Here are the skills you can look at, such as like technical proficiency, analytical skills, such as skills, quantitative skills, communication skills. These are the skills obviously required if you are looking to go for a top university, okay, around the world. Now, what are the services that we offer at HNR? We offer from test prep to admission process. If we talk about the test prep, there are different services such as IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE, which are there for the English language testing. Then you have the PSAT, SAT, and ACT, which are their kind of entrance test, the standardized test, which helps you in terms of getting admissions in the bachelor program. And then we also helps you in terms of preparing for the UCAT and IMAT, which is required for the medicine programs, okay. And then GRE and GMAT, which is required for the management and the master's program around the world, okay. If you're looking for any top universities, these are the tests you might have to go with, if you are looking for the universities which are helping you in terms of getting admissions in USA, in Canada, or anywhere else, okay. Now, if we talk about the admission process, there are different parts of it. One is psychometric test, two visa assistance. So first is psychometric test, which helps you. It's a kind of scientific test. It gives you a kind of analysis on what you are doing, and what is should be in which direction you have to go for it, and what are the prospect careers you can choose for. As per the results from the segment test, we help you in terms of the profile building, like what are the kind of tests, what are the kind of courses you can look for, what are the NGO activity or any other kind of activities which is required, co-curriculum activity, extracurricular activity which is required for your admissions. We help you in the career guidance also, like what kind of courses we should target as per your 10th and 12th or other subjects that you have chosen in your high school. Then we also help you in terms of selecting the universities during the admission, which are the universities which can you can easily target as per your profile. Then we have SOP and LOR, which is required for study abroad. SOP is a statement of purpose. For example, if I'm going for computer science, right? So the question is why I want to go for computer science. So for that, you write a kind of essay, and this is SOP, a statement of purpose. Then you have the LOR, which is a letter of recommendation. This LOR you get from your school principal, or if you're doing any kind of internship or something, so you get from that your manager or somewhere, right? Then we help you in the scholarship and the financial planning. This is obviously very important because if you are going abroad for your for your education, there are a lot of money required, a lot of financial help required over there. So if you are getting some sort of scholarship from your college or from any third party, obviously it's going to help you a lot. But along with that, if you need any other kind of financial help or support, like you need to know what kind of options do we have in that. So for that also we help you. Then we help you in terms of getting the visa assistance. So if you're applying for the visa, what are the process and how to apply? So for all that we help. So from psychometric test, profile building to visa assistance, everything we are doing here. Okay, you don't have to go anywhere else for either test preparation or the admission process or any other kind of services that you are looking for your study abroad journey. Here are some examples of the students who have achieved their dream score in the IELTS, and along with that, there are other students who have achieved the dream scores in the test prep also, like SAT, GMAT, GRE. You have the examples here for the IELTS only. You can see students have a score 8.5 or 8 out of 9. Then here are some examples of students who have achieved a kind of good scholarship amount during their, for their study in the top universities. Now you will understand about the IELTS from the Jyoti ma'am, and she will be telling you about everything about the IELTS exam pattern and everything. So I think now Jyoti ma'am can start. Jyoti ma'am, over to you. Now you can.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh sir. Good morning, everyone. This is Jyoti Chaudhary, and I'm a verbal trainer working with Hidden and Renowned. So, as sir has already told you that today we are going to learn about this IELTS exam. So, the first and the foremost thing that I want to say that as you all have joined here, so I can imagine, I can understand that these the listed countries that you see at the left hand side, USA, UK, Australia, Ireland, these would be your target countries or the places where you want to pursue your or you want to study your graduation program or the master's program. So today what we are learning is that why do we need to this give IELTS exam? Because it is an international English language testing system. And as you know that all these countries that we have listed over here are English-based countries. That means that their prime language is English. So that is the reason that they demand that every student or every individual who's coming to their country to study further, they need to be very good or they need to have a proficiency in English language. And that is why they take this IELTS exam of yours. And as I've told you that the IELTS exam is adapted by all these countries. There are 10,000 organizations in 140 countries because English is the most spoken language in the world. Okay. Now let's move further and understand the different patterns of the IELTS exam and what is all there in the IELTS exam. Okay. Yeah. So, University of Cambridge is the authorized center. It is from the UK that they have started this exam years back, and they are the one who would still create the question papers of yours, and you get the report card from the University of Cambridge. The certification would be from the University of Cambridge. But as you know that every big brand has some sellers of it. So IDP is just the seller of this IELTS exam in India. So when you are registering this exam, you will be giving this exam, everything is taken care by the IDP, but your certification and your fees will go to the University of Cambridge. Now, let's understand what are the different modules for this exam. So there are general IELTS exam and academic IELTS exam. General IELTS exam, just for your information, I'm telling that this is the exam given by the individuals who are planning to shift abroad. You have seen a lot of people going for PR shift, and there are a lot of people who go for job opportunities and business opportunities. So this is called general. People who are going, they generally, so they give the general IELTS exam. But all my students were over here, they all would be giving the academic IELTS test because you all would be going for the graduation program, as I understand. So let's understand what is this academic IELTS test. Just give me a second. Yeah. So as pen and paper, you can see to pen and paper, you imagine it is exactly the same exam as you give in your schools as well. Whereas you use the pen and paper to write your exam. But the limitation to this exam is that because this is given by pen and paper, so IDP conducts this exam once in a month only. So you have to register yourself for that limited day. And then you would be sitting there, give 3 hours of exam using the pen and paper. The result also comes into 10 to 15 days for this exam. And on the second hand, we do have a computer-based exam since the coronavirus came. So many of the students confuse it with the internet exam or the digital exam. This is a digital exam which would be given at the IDP sectors. And the benefit of this exam is that because it is being given on the computers and that can be given on any IDP sector, you can choose your own date because this exam date is available every day. And also this exam is taken 4 times in a day. So you can just choose your day, you can choose your own time and give this exam. The result also comes in 4 days because the exam is digital. So they can send to the Cambridge University in a moment and you would get result in a very soon. But still, I never ask my student to choose any of the exam on the very first day. If you are more comfortable writing with pen and paper because you all go to school and you have the practice and you have a good speed and your spellings are correct, then please go for pen and paper. But as you all have moved to computers, many of the students, you can see that if your typing is good and if you're not doing many of the spelling mistakes, we'll see that and we will book computer-based test exams. Okay. I hope all you are understanding this. If not, please write down your questions with you. And at the end, we'll be having a Q&A session, whereas I'll explain everything that is still stuck in the minds. Okay, the exam is valid for the result is valid for 2 years for the science exam, and there is no marking. That is just bad score. You would not be getting the, like in your schools, 80% or 95% of marks. This is a band score from 1 to 9, whereas 4 is the minimum score and 7 is considered a very good average score, and 8, as you have seen, in the number of students of our organization have got 8 or 8.5, which has been 8.5 is an excellent score, which is very rare in the world. So you would be getting the good universities with a good supply and good fee reduction over here. And there is no pass and fail. Even if you get 4 and 5, you are pass in this exam, but the eligibility would be different for every university and every college. And as an experienced trainer, I can tell you that 6.5 is the minimum requirement for most of the universities in the world. Okay, now let's understand what is the IELTS structure and what is the exam pattern. So as I'm talking about continuously about the English. So this is at the end the language exam. It is not the literature exam. So when I say language can only be understandable by listening, reading, writing, and speaking. These are the 4 parameters. These are the 4 pillars by which we communicate in any of the language. So they are taking all the test of all these 4 parameters of yours. First test would be taken of your listening test, whereas this section would be divided into the 4 sections with 40 questions. I'll talk about listening further. Then let's move to the reading. The reading is just like in your schools, whereas you read the passage and on the basis of that information, you would be answering some questions. So they would be checking if you understand that vocabulary, if you have a good command over English language, and if you understand what is being given to you in a reading pattern. The third one is writing, whereas the essays would be opinion based. So they want to see that how well you can communicate your ideas into writing. The last one would be your speaking test, whereas it would be a one-to-one conversation between the examiner and you. They would be asking a few questions to you and see how confident you are in speaking in this English language. Okay. Let's move further and see and understand briefly about all these 4 different exams that we are going to have in the for this IELTS exam. As I've told you, the first would be the listening section. In the listening section, that total time period you would be spending would be 30 to 35 minutes. It would be divided into 4 sections and we'll have 40 questions over there. And those 40 questions would be just like this, as you can see on the screen. There would be multiple choice questions. For example, you and I are talking over here, and our conversation would be heard into this listening test, and they would be asking what they were talking about, IELTS, SAT, or GRE. So you have to choose IELTS over there. This is the multiple choice questions. And then they say match the information. Just like in schools, I am sure that you guys remember, whereas column A and column B are given to you, and you have to match that with the correct information. Over here, this would be given to you as well. They would mark, let's say there is a lecture about birds. So they would name some birds over here, and in front of them, they would talk about their attributes and different abilities. So you have to match it with the right word that they have given. And then we have table completion, summary completion, sentence completion. And all this you have to just write 1 word or 2 words at the max. They do not ask you to write any sentence. They do understand that you're listening and you're answering the questions at the same moment. So you won't be able to write the sentences. That is why the whole pattern of listening would ask you to just to choose 1 correct answer out of the 3 given choices, or would have a blank over there so that you can just write 1 word over there, because you won't be able to listen to the conversation again. It will go in a one flow and your questionnaire will be in front of you, whereas as you listen, you have to fill in the words. So there are some strategies that we would learn in this IELTS preparation course. How do we do that? Okay. Let's move to the reading pattern. In the reading section again, we would going to have 40 questions, just like the listening. But for those 40 questions, you would just have 3 different paragraphs, the reading comprehension passages. The total time given for your reading section would be 60 minutes. And 60 minutes, in those 60 minutes, you have to answer the 40 question and read those 3 passages also. The question type would be as given, as written in front of you, the multiple choice, just like the listing, whereas you just have to choose the one correct answer out of the 3 given choices. And the second type of question would be true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. Because in the reading passages, you would have some information. So they would ask you if it is true according to the information in the passage or not, or it is false. And sometimes the strangest question that you have never heard or done in your schools, that is not given. So they would be asking that if that information is not talked about. For example, I'm talking about IELTS over here. A lot of things about IELTS. I'm giving you the structure and everything. But there are some things that I'm not talking about IELTS because those strategies, how to solve these reading questions or the listening questions, would be given into a training time. So they would ask you if the strategies were talked in the in this seminar or the webinar. So you have to choose not given. That means we did not talk about it at all. It's not the false information or the true information. So these are some of the tricky questions that you would be having for these reading questions in IELTS. Apart from it, again, in the reading, fortunately, they do not ask you to write any sentences. Even those sentence completion, summary completion, note completion, flowchart completion, there are different types of questions. But in every question, they are just asking you to fill in the question with one word answer. That is the maximum thing that they are asking. The total time would be 60 minutes. That cannot be transferred to your test and the writing, which is the next test to the reading. Okay, now understand the writing section. And as I want to be honest with you guys, this is the section where students desperately need a training. Because the reading comprehension you have been practicing in school. The listening, you all watch Netflix nowadays. So you are comfortable somewhere in their language. You just need to know some strategies and questions. But when we are talking about this writing section now, honestly speaking, this is not what you have done in your school till. Because in the first one, there is a report writing, or I can say data interpretation. That data will be given to you in the bar chart, in pie chart, graphs, diagram, flow chart. It is just the information or the survey report they would give you. And you have to write it into your words. You cannot add any other information. You cannot give your opinion. It is just that you have to interpret that information and talk about it in a right manner so that when the reader is reading it, they do not find the need to see the bar chart or the information that is being given. Okay. The second one is essay writing. This essay writing is completely opinion based. I want to repeat myself and say that this is just the English language test. This is not your formative test. They are not checking if you know something or not. This is not your literature test. So they are not expecting you to give any right answer. There is no right and wrong. There is no pass and fail. They just want to see how well you can communicate your opinions into words. So what you have to do is you have to write your opinions over there on the given topic. They would just ask you very simple questions if fast food is healthy or not. If a lot of people are migrating to other countries, is it a good approach for the base country or the prime country, mother country or not? So they are asking you very basic questions. So you have to just give your opinion because they want to see how well you communicate your ideas into the writing. Okay. Now understand the third part, which I believe should be the easy one as you all study in the English medium schools. But many of my students do say me, ma'am, please, we need a desperate help into this training section as well. Because somewhere this is a one-on-one conversation, whereas again, I'll say they are not asking for any basic information or the knowledge, but they want to see that how well you are communicating the questions or how well you are communicating your answers and opinions on this first part. So this is divided into 3 parts. In the first one, it is introduction and interview. So introduction, they are not asking you that basic information, tell me your name and where do you live. Ask you something about your neighborhood. They would ask you about clothes. They would ask you about your Indian culture. They would ask you about the food that you eat, clothing that you do, the accessories that you wear. So they are going to ask you some introductory questions related to you, your family, your neighborhood, your country, your region. It is just about you and your surroundings. In the second part, it is called individual long term because over here they are going to give you one cue card. In that cue card, there will be one question with 3 sub questions into it. You would be provided with 1 minute. You can prepare your answer in that 1 minute, and then you have to speak for 1.5 to 2 minutes. You have to give your opinion on the given question. You would not be judged for your opinion, but you would be judged how convincing you are to give your opinion. If, let's say, they have just asked you about, talk about your favorite book. So you are telling about your favorite book. You have to tell it in a way that the other person would feel like that I want to read this book. Your answer should be more convincing. Your answer should have a relevant answers related to that book. Okay. And now the third part is two-way discussion. In the first part, they were just asking you questions and you were answering them. In the second part, you had the full opportunity to talk about your choice of question and your opinions. But in the third part, whatever you would be doing, they would ask you questions related to that. It would be like a discussion that they can deny and they can ask you question related to that. For example, you have said that fast food is definitely government should ban the fast food in India as a lot of people are getting obese. So they would ask you that shouldn't it be the student's choice? Shouldn't be the individual's choice to stop eating the fast food? Why it should be the responsibility of the government? Why do you think this way? So they are asking you your opinions. They want you to be very convenient in speaking your language. Or talking about your opinion into the confidence. What they are seeking is that when this individual would go to USA, where everybody speaks in English language, and they would be asking you questions related to your country, your culture, your opinions, would you be able to convince them? Would you be able to buy your grocery over there? Would you be able to ask questions to the teacher who is teaching you in English language? So this whole exam, they would see that if you would be able to write your answers, read the books that you would be provided, listen to them and understand, because the accent also in the listening exam would not be Indian. The accent would be either the Britishers or the Australians. So they want to see that if you understand different accents, you are able to grab that information and replying in the right manner. In the reading, they are getting it that if you're going there for the studies, are you able to grab the information and you're good enough to read and understand passages or not? Third part is your writing, whereas you were talking about opinion. And the fourth one, how well you are communicating whatever you are thinking and how you're grabbing that information. Okay. So these are the 4 sections. And now let's move to Q&A section. Like I told that you can ask any questions that you want to ask about this IELTS exams, the further classes, how much time is needed for the preparation, everything. Ashutosh sir and I am here to answer all your queries related to the IELTS exam, its preparation, its fees, and its structure.
So anyone, if you have any question, please raise your hand. We'll allow you to talk, and you can ask your questions. We'll be able to answer about the IELTS. If you have a question about the batches, courses, anything, we'll be able to answer that. So please raise your hand. Do not hesitate. Feel free to ask the questions, because as much you ask the questions, it helps you in terms of getting your knowledge better.
I think we have Tarun. Yeah, Tarun, please ask the question.
So, if I register for the IELTS right now, what is the duration? How soon can I be completely prepared for it if I have to appear for my exam? Earliest.
Actually, it depends completely on your requirement. If, let's say, your applications are due in a month or somewhere in a lesser time, we can prepare you for this exam into 15 to 20 days as well. But if you have enough time and you are going through some exams and everything in your life, we do have a batches that are going for 2.5 to 3 months for the science exam. So we can have 3 classes in a week, we can have 1 class in a week, but that would be required. There would be 15 to 20 hours that are required to prepare for science exam.
Okay, ma'am, but that is fine. But I have been searching on Google and I am finding institutes, where there are a lot of students in one batch, so I would not get that attention. So is it the same for Hayden and Renault also?
No, absolutely no. Absolutely no. We do provide one-on-one batches also, and in our group batches also, there are only 5 to 7 students in a batch, whereas you would be getting our full attention. Your homework would be checked, your assignments would be checked, you would be given chance to speak for your speaking test. That would be a regular practice. And now we do have Kusum over here. Kusum, please ask your question.
So you can talk now. You can unmute and talk.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you.
Well, my question was the same, in fact, which the other guy already asked. But yes, I would still ask, when is the good time to join such course, for the IELTS?
it completely depends when you are planning to go abroad for your further studies.
My
If it is,
Okay, I'll just clarify. Like my son is now he's in +1. So if he has to go, of course, after +2. So when is the good time to join such course? And what will be the duration? What is the convenient duration wherein he can be very well aware of what he needs to learn actually, and how to speak, how to write. Though he knows English, but yes, of
yes,
course, to prepare for such an
exam,
exam.
we
So
need
when
a
is a good time?
perfect English. Yes, ma'am. So I think this year is the perfect time because as he would move to the next standard or next class, he would be occupied with a lot of pressure with the school board
Mhm.
exam. So this would be the right year where he can prepare. And as we are into the summer vacations, I would really
Hmm.
suggest you to ask him to join a SAP because at this time he would be able to invest more time into the IELTS preparations. And as I was telling you earlier also, that it completely depends on the requirement and the availability of the students as well. So if he is available to us for once or twice in a week, we can have 2 classes per week and he would be prepared to give the exam in 3 months.
All right.
And generally the application process starts by the month of September, October. So we would be done and we would have the results of IELTS as well with us.
So what are the number of trials? I mean, what are the number of test exams that he can appear for? And I think you have already mentioned that it lasts for 2 years, right? The validity is for 2 years.
Yes. So there is no limitation that they have given us for the number of attempts, but I can just assure you that if he's preparing with us, you won't require any other, attempt. He would be able to
Okay.
score 7
And
plus into the first attempt.
so it is only IELTS or it's like TOEFL and all. So are they, means of course, you must be having different batches for different exams, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We do have.
Okay.
So
So what
let's do
about,
one thing, ma'am. Let's have a one-on-one meeting with you because I can
yeah,
understand
sure.
that
I
you
was
have many
about
queries.
to, I was about to
Yes.
say that because of course I have queries and I want to know the fee structure and all, every detail of this so that I can also make up my mind.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Right.
So what
Okay.
I'll do here,
Yeah.
I'll connect with you with one of my counselors and they can help you out because I'm not sure that if you have attended our previous webinars related to the SCT exam. That is also
No,
one
I have
exam that,
not.
yes, ma'am. So that is also one exam that I would suggest for your ward to give because he's in 11th standard and that is the perfect time to give for the SCT. And they also have when he's planning to go abroad for graduation programs. That exam is must for many of the universities and it definitely helps you to have many benefits over there. So what we'll do is we'll have a one-on-one conversation with you, whereas we can suggest you for this SAT, IELTS, and you have other things in your mind like TOEFL. So we'll explain you that TOEFL is basically just for USA and IELTS is for all the countries that are listed over there. That is why we prefer IELTS over TOEFL. But if it is particularly USA and we would understand the requirements of your student, of your child, that where does he want to go, which university and which course he want to apply. Accordingly, we would suggest you what would be the exact right time to sit for the SCT as well as IELTS exam.
Okay. Yeah, first
Ma'am,
of all,
can
I
we,
would like him to appear for the test so that he can prepare himself. He at least get to know what actually he needs to prepare or he needs to work on.
yes, ma'am, exactly. We can have the psychometric test for that, as sir was explaining earlier. By that test, we would get an idea that what course would be perfect for him as well. Because he's in +1, there would be a lot of opportunities ahead of him. So he would get the right idea that what is the right course, what is the right approach of his mind to go for that. So let's have the full conversation. Can we please have ma'am your number in the chat box? You can just write in the private chat box so that we can have a call with you.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, we are starting a new batch for IELTS and SAT both on 3rd of June. So in case if you are interested in joining that,
So
you
chat
can,
is actually disabled, so I cannot write.
ma'am, you can write in the Q&A. That will be
Yes,
allowed.
ma'am. Q&A session.
Okay, I think we have another person to ask some questions. Anushka, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So I just wanted to ask whether is it actually necessary to join like courses and classes for this exam, or can we prepare for it ourselves?
Jyoti ma'am, please answer.
Yes, definitely, I understand you can prepare yourself for this exam, but we would not know that how well you would be able to score, because like we were talking earlier, that this is an English-based exam, and we all have gone to the English medium schools, so it does seem easier to give this exam. But what happens that there are some strategies, that are there are some requirements that IELTS exam demands, which is difficult to understand on your own. So what I'll do is that we can give you one mock test, and we can see if you're scoring 6 and more than that into the mock test itself without any preparation. You can definitely go for it on your own. But if it is less than that, I would definitely suggest you to go for a training session so that you would understand what are the particular requirements of this IELTS exam.
Okay, okay.
And you can also give me your number in the chat box in the Q&A so that we can have a call with you, and we can send you that mock test on your mail, and we can review that mock test for you on a free of cost so that you would get the
Yes,
idea that where do we stand here.
yes, yes. And this course or whatever these classes are for HNR, will they be charged?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay. Sure. I'll share you my number.
Yeah, please share your email ID and phone number with us so that we can contact you. We will be giving you the mock test, and then we can have a conversation about the tuition fee and the duration of this
Mock test
preparation.
would be free. We can provide free mock test, but for obviously for the classes, for the whole preparation, you'll have to pay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Shiv is here. He wants to ask a few questions. Shiv, you can ask.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
I am actually pursuing commerce, so I want to do MBA and CFA in the future. So, is it the right exam for me to pursue my career in finance?
Definitely it is. Like I said, this is an English language exam. So if you're planning to go abroad, this is the basic exam that you would require.
Ma'am, what is
Without
the
this
best
exam,
TOEFL? Should I give TOEFL or this one? Why? What is the reason to choose over this one?
okay. Like I said, that TOEFL is as good as IELTS exam. There is no difference. We also provide training for TOEFL exam. The TOEFL exam is related to the country of USA. But
Okay.
IELTS exam is accepted by all over the world. So let's say right now you're planning to go to USA, but maybe in 6 months or a year, you get an opportunity from Canada, UK, or New
Yeah.
Zealand. So that let's have an, big arms, widespread our wings, na?
Yeah,
And let's have
definitely.
the opportunity to apply anywhere in the world. That's why we suggest to go for the IELTS. But if it is particularly you do have a one straight goal in your mind that this is the university, this is the course which is in USA, you can definitely go for the TOEFL exam. We do have a training and batches for the TOEFL as well.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Along
So
with that, so
I'll
if,
ask you the same thing. Yes, sorry, sir. Please.
in case if you are planning for the MBA program, there are other tests also which is required like GMAT and GRE. As per the courses and the university you are targeting, you may have to give that exam also. And it depends on the courses, university, and the country. Okay, so for that you can connect with the counselors, and they can definitely help you in terms of getting that idea whether you have to go with only IELTS exam or along with IELTS you need to go with the GRE or GMAT also.
Okay.
We
Thank
can,
you.
if we can have your number over here, Shubh, or the mail
Yeah.
ID, so our counselor will
Yes.
connect with you and give you the whole information about the same.
Okay, ma'am. I'll share. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Okay, anyone else who is having any kind of question, you can just raise your hand. You can ask a question.
Bhavya, Devanshi, Shaurya, we do have a lot of attendees over here, which if you have anything in your mind related to this IELTS exam, the SAT, anything that comes to your mind, any question that bothers you when you're thinking to go abroad, you can just ask us over here. If we are able to answer, we will. Otherwise, we will connect you with your counselor and they would guide you through the whole process of going abroad.
Okay, so I believe now there's no question, ma'am. So we can end the session. In case you guys have any other question, you can always connect with us on the number provided over the screen. You can also email to admissions@here.com. For any kind of query you have, our consultants will be in touch with you. All right. Thank you for joining. That's all for today. We'll again meet in another webinar after some time where we'll be able to help you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining.